everybody, it's your good friend Rafa Sparza. So, I'm going to do one of these. I'm going to go live with a friend. I got to make sure we got some folks. Hey, what's up, Mikey Rolls, McFly High 88, and they have just shown up. So I'm going to invite my good friend Michael Frausto, who has just moved on over to the northern part. Feels like, oh right, it's Seattle, Washington, not other one. I mean, they're the same place, right? What's up, Gambino? What's up, Jake and Hardman? And I thought since he was around, I would say what's up to him. Hopefully you guys can enjoy and chat on in. We're actually going to be drinking. Hey, what's up?
Yeah, we are. What's going on, brother?
How much, man? How are you? Look at you. Are you thinner? How are you thinner?
Absolutely not. Quite the opposite. And fortunately, I don't have a scale here, so I can't really confirm or deny.
What a sad state of affairs. Well, maybe it's the camera that's making you appear thinner.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. I made sure of that. I got to set my angles properly, so I think the lighting is good. Or set.
You've done a good job of lighting yourself. Most of the time, it's hard to describe to people the importance of lighting. If this were any other guest, I would have just gone more in the dark here and not even cared.
Yeah, they create some dramatic shadows, so that's where I'm at right now, you know? It's getting dark now, so we're good. Perfect timing.
Now, I recognize this background because I saw you put out a video today, which was very well done. Good job, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. How did it feel like to actually be on camera?
It was weird, just the idea of it. Talking in front of a camera is not a problem. Like that I'm comfortable with, but it's the idea of filming it, knowing I'm going to have to go and edit it, and then put it out. That, for me, is like the only weird concept of it. Talking is fine. That part, it's not an issue. Although I did do a lot of takes. So those will not make a blooper reel of any kind. But, no, it wasn't that challenging. I think once I got over it and just put it out, and I just kind of said, fuck it, and just let it be, then I was fine. Got a lot of positive feedback, which was cool. And actually, funny enough, I don't ever put anything on YouTube. If I do put something out, it's like on my Instagram or just something for people to share. But so I posted it on YouTube, and I only have 8 subscribers, which I don't even pay attention to. And the only reason I know that is because Jim Lawson sent me a text message immediately following and was like, hey, can I share your video on Jiu-Jitsu Mag? And I was like, dude, absolutely, that would be sick. I was like, how'd you even see it already? He's like, I'm one of your loyal 8 subscribers. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that's cool.
Hey, man, you know, I tell people all the time, I'm like, when I produce stuff for, like, early late night, and I laugh about it because I'll be like, you know, hey, I got to rebuild that brand. I haven't done that in a while. Some of the people are, like, who have similar pages are like, oh, dude, I just don't want to play to, like, 5 people or 10 people. And I'm like, yeah, but who are those 10 people?
Exactly.
Because if you don't know who those 10 people are, you might not know. And they're like, really? I was like, my writers don't know that the heads of certain different departments at NBC are the ones liking it. So no disrespect to the other people who like it, but if the VP of late night over at NBC likes it, then that means you've got a better shot of being on NBC. So you know,
exactly.
Don't get too discouraged by those numbers. But that's great, dude. Jim Lawson, longtime friend and fan of the show. We have Keith Kikorian who's sending in tons of happy faces.
Yeah, my man. Miss that guy. Miss a lot of people in Cali. Miss a lot of people.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, obviously you have a great opportunity on your side. And I think one of the things that's really cool about the video is you get a first row seat. Like it's a good tease into what is coming from the gym.
Yeah, definitely. And that wasn't something that like I had planned on doing. I didn't think offhand, like, oh, I should probably make a video on this. This is an interesting situation that I'm in. It kind of came about because there's a videographer that I follow for all of his tutorials on how to edit and shoot and all that stuff. And he put out a contest, essentially, basically saying, you know, how has this pandemic affected you? What have you been doing in the interim? How's everyone spending their free time? So on and so forth. And the bigger reason why I wanted to try it was because one of his shticks for it all was to try and stay home and do it, which for me is a challenge. I live in an apartment. It's not the biggest thing. It's not easy to get, you know, cool shots in an apartment. So it was obviously try and stay at home or stay within the guidelines of your state, which I have access to the gym. I have a key, so it's not like anyone's around. There's not a lot of people. So for those few shots that I was able to get at the gym to showcase that was perfect. And then the rest was cell phone footage from my buddy Will, Naga, who's going to be the other main instructor over there as well. So he had cell phone footage from when they got the building throughout most of the construction before I got there, because they had started a month before I got there, and then I finished that last month with them. So it was cool to kind of see that transition. Like myself, I hadn't seen it fully until I had gotten there and really, finished the build out to the end. So that was cool. That was dope.
I mean, I was laughing because once I saw the coffee press and all of that, like, I realized, I was like, oh, because 2 days ago or 3 days ago, I thought I saw you put up that thing that's like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to try that contest. And I said, cool. And I know your style. So when I saw you in it, I saw you narrating it, I was like, bro, I'm available. I can voice over. And then I saw you in it, and I said, no, that's cool, because the first thing you see when you go into a gym is the instructor. So you do want to create that sense of right away, people should already just know who you are. So I was very pleased that that's the thing. So what is the contest then? What does that entail?
So basically, it was to create a short film, which very, very short film, because it was anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes long. But basically, the gist of it was that you put it out, and he gets a lot of sponsors for his videos that pay him money for it. He made a video saying that he felt bad kind of accepting that money for that particular video that he was putting out, because so many people are in need of money. So he decided to take the money and create a contest out of it. And he's basically handing that out to 5 winners. So he's spreading it across a good amount. It's not like top 1, 2, or 3. So he's picking 5 out of the bunch. And the deadline was yesterday, actually. So I know for a fact after like day 4, there was like 400 subscriptions, he said, or like submissions or whatever. I'm like, dude. So it's going to be a little while to find out. But I think he said May 6th, he's going to try and like pick something and then figure that out. But I was like, why not? It would be fun to get that experience just based off of the description that he gave. And then if you get it, cool, get some money out of it. That'd be dope.
Absolutely. Good stuff. What is the prize then?
5th, 4th, and 3rd get $500. Second gets $1,500, and first gets $2,000.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, can't hurt. Get some practice in.
Well,
I haven't been filming anything, so I was like, I need some practice. Need some reps.
Well, in jiu-jitsu terms, $2,000 might as well be $1 million. So
for sure.
Especially to a new gym owner. I mean, literally anything you've got to buy.
100%.
Coming out of pocket. So let me go and share with you. I got on my side, dude.
What you got?
I got Hop Roulette Citra over here.
Okay.
This
I like that label.
Good friend over at dude. I'm gonna level with you a little bit. I don't try to be this guy, but every once in a while, if I see like a really cool little thing on there, every once in a while I'll be like, fuck, just give me that cool one too. Yeah. Like, I don't know anything about this beer other than, oh, that looks pretty rad. So I decided that's what I'm bringing here. What do you have on your side, sir?
This is a DeSchutes fresh squeezed IPA. This is a pretty common one. I think a lot of people have seen this one. But there's actually a few little microbreweries that are still open right now that are doing like all the to-go beers. I just haven't like stopped by them yet. But they're open. They're like handing them out. It's cool. They got they don't let anybody inside, so they'll set up a table like right at the front. So you walk in, you don't really have to go inside. They just hand it off, cool, and you're good. So still need to check that out. I haven't done it yet, but I will.
I will tell you. You know my place out here, Hop Merchants, is like, I don't know if this is a good or a bad sign. I mean, obviously, I love them. They love me. But there was a moment where I was calling them over the phone, and I didn't say it was me to begin with, because I just don't assume, like, oh, you know my name just by the way I talk. So I give them the order, and they're like, okay, what's the name on your card? And I was like, well, my name's Rafael. And they're like, Rah! Dude, just say that up fucking top. And I was like, I don't know if it's good or bad that, like, my local bar is like, hey, what's up, drunk? Do you need some more?
As long as they don't know your order yet. Once they get there and they're like, you want the 2 IPAs and the 3 pale ales? Yeah, we got you. It's already booked. It's already packed. We're good.
To be fair, the first couple days, because I think everybody's just trying to do what they can to help everybody at this moment, especially for small business. And I got to be honest for you, man. When I saw all this happening with different places, my first thought was, I need beer. I was like,
100%.
I should probably chill and get there. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, the best thing that you can do in times like this is to make an impact on those small businesses. Like, take the small people that you truly care about and really make a difference in those people's lives rather than trying to go big. If you have the means to go big, do it. But, like, we all work in jiu-jitsu, so we're not like flushed with
Do what
cash.
you can. Do what you can. But before we go further, virtual cheers.
Hold on, cheers to Deep.
Yeah,
You're a braver
damn.
man. Look at you. You're not even putting it in a glass, which is what you're supposed
Nope.
to do. See, the
No.
man.
Straight can. If it was a different beer, maybe this one. But also, too, you need to have glasses that are already chilled, ready to go, because then you warm the beer up. So I don't want to affect the temperature of this.
Well, cheers to you, and cheers to your new gym, sir.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. So actually, now that you say that, just to clarify, because I had to like hit up a few people. I'm like, yo, this is what's happening. Everyone's like asking me questions about it. I'm like, so it's not my gym. I need everyone to know that. Everyone's like, dude, congrats on the new gym. I'm like, this is Nate Orchard's gym, but I'm definitely excited to be a part of it because the big start of it was that when I came out here to open up my own gym, I still wanted to train with Nate. That was my big thing. I was like, I want to train with you still, and like do like a back and forth. I was going to be out of the way enough to where I wouldn't, interfere with his schedule, but I wanted to be close enough where I could still get some night training in while I'm doing that, and so on and so forth. And that conversation led to, well, we're getting a new space. We'd love to have you and help us build it. And I'm not going to pass that up, especially in a new city, trying to, figure it out. And business is new, city is new. I'm like, I need something at least relatively familiar to kind of get my feet wet and then get it up and running. And I get to trade with fucking Nate Orchard. I'm like, I'm not going to pass that up. I'll take it all day.
That's nice. But all that you just said right now doesn't fit on an Instagram or a social media post.
Nah.
So it's easier to just write. Because I was thinking about that too. I was like, how am I going to post that? And then I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm writing it the way I'm writing it. And if anybody has any issue with it, Orchard can call me directly. It's fine. I'm not that worried about it.
Yeah. I don't think it's a big deal. It's good now. We're good.
Well, let me say this. Kevin just writes from the Jiu-Jitsu Times. It says, BJJ media personality, a confirmed alcoholic, more at 11.
Yes.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
I'm the only one, too, so don't worry about me. Kevin was asking, where is it? You're out in Seattle, Washington.
Seattle, Washington.
That's very clear to everybody. Yeah. So he's not super far, but obviously that is a cool thing to see on your side. So obviously the work projects of doing that has been a way that you've been keeping sane. Have you been making food during this time? Like, what have you been doing that has kept you busy aside from, obviously everything you're doing with the gym?
A lot of food, which is why I was actually thoroughly happy that you said, do you look thinner? How'd you get thin? I'm like, dude, I've been watching a lot of YouTube, a lot of cooking videos, and cooking a lot. But that's pretty much passing the time. A lot of cooking, a lot of editing, a lot of working on the computer, which actually, I don't know if I told you this. I don't know if this came up. Before I moved, it may have came up, one of my hard drives crashed that had like 80% of my client work on there. Like jiu-jitsu videos, restaurant work, graphic design, photos, like everything. I took a trip to Hawaii last year. That's all gone. I had some work that I done for Jordan from the Love Movement, some videos for him, like interviews. Those are gone. That all crashed. And I went to 3 different places to try and recover the footage. No one could do anything. I talked to a couple of my buddies that are just, tech nerds that know about it. And I explained the situation, what I was hearing within the hard drive. First response I got from mom was like, oh, dude, you're screwed. I was like, don't tell me that. I went to another place. They tried to break it apart. They're like, here's the deal. We could maybe fix it, but what you're going to have to do is buy another hard drive that we have to match exactly. It's $400 to buy that. They're like, if we can fix it, you're going to pay us another $500 if we can fix it. I was like, what are the chances you can fix it? They're like, 40%. I'm like, so if I get this hard drive and you can't fix it, I'm just out $400. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, I'll just take my L. So I took my L, lost all of that. But to ensure that never happens again, I bought a giant NAS system, which you are actually resting my phone on right now, which is this giant contraption. And that's going to ensure that I have backups, I have everything on a redundant drive so I never lose anything. No more lost footage, no more lost photos. Yeah, so I've been doing that all day, and I still got 4 hours left to transfer. So that's what I've been doing.
Well, I'll tell you this. I actually just bought another external because I was racing through all these early late night programs, and each of them take a certain amount because, a lot of these guys are doing it remotely. So they're sending me their stuff, And depending on if I'm in a scene with them, I have to edit that, and then it goes through 4 or 5 different proofs, and they're all hour shows, 45-hour shows. So as I'm making all these things, I'm like, how did this get to be 5 gigs? Like, I don't want 5 gigs. I want 3. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, well, listen, I don't want to put out a shitty low-quality version of this. And even compressing it's going to take this time and this time. So I've literally gotten to this habit of just being like, not only am I doing a backup save, but I'm doing a backup to the backup save.
Right.
For, like, my hard files. And before, even, like, Kelly came to see me after I did an interview today. And she's like, hey! And she's like, coming to give me a hug. I was like, no, hold on, I gotta save it.
Just to make sure. Yep.
You have no idea how bad this is gonna be if this goes awry.
Well, that was the thing too. Is it's hard to make backups when the amount of footage I had was like it was way too much. You know, so I had 2 4-terabyte drives filled up, another 2-terabyte drive that was filled up, and then I was working on another 4-terabyte drive. So I'm like, I would have had to buy the exact same amount of drives to like back those up. And I knew I was going to eventually purchase this, but it's a hefty purchase. Like, it's got slots for 6 drives. Can only afford 2 because those things like they're ridiculous. So I'm like, I'll just wait. Everything's good, and then I waited a little too long. So definitely took the L on that. But now I'm set.
Dude, I look at your externals because you get the real good externals too. And when I was thinking about getting a new one, I was like, man, do I need to get one of those? Like. And I started thinking about it. I was like, no, I should make it so that I only stay home and it just stays there and I just need some get by because I'm thinking about it and I'm like, man, you know how much it sucks when you're starting to do math for storage where you go, okay, hold on. If I do 10 projects on here, how many do I have left to put on 2 more projects? Nope, I got to split. This project goes on this drive and this project goes on that drive.
100%. But, so I want to know what you've been doing. Because I remember even when we had a normal training schedule, I would still hear the intermittent, like, I got to eat, fatty got to eat, like with it. So now that we're not training, I want to know where we're at on that front and how you're staying sane.
Oh, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. First and foremost, before being any kind of jiu-jitsu practitioner, I'm a content creator. So this is how it went in my brain. And I think this is very similar to a number of people. When they told me at NBC, they're like, so we're going to break for the corona. And I was like, oh my God, I love this job. Man, okay, well, I guess I'm going to go train. And my first thought was go train. And then I was immediately like, no, that's a dumb idea too. Fuck. Normally, when I get time off, my first thing is go train.
Yep.
So now, I think for about a good week or so, I was like, pretty active and up and moving. And then it was equipping like myself with all of the content that I could. Because I started thinking, I was like, let me do more interviews. Let me set some time up and do that sort of a thing. And I got to tell you, dude, the hardest thing I think about when I see all these people doing interviews and go lives is every single person is like, hey, bro, what are you doing in the coronavirus? Man, this coronavirus must be hard to train. And
Talk of the town.
But I'm like, these interviews suck because every athlete is going to say, fuck this coronavirus.
Yeah.
Fuck it. And the hardest thing that I think, one way or another, depending on where you fall on what this means, is trying to stay sane so that you can process the information in a rational form gets exasperated when people become emotionally angry one way or the other. So to me, I said, the best thing that I can do is hit up my brand of writers for early late night. And I'm talking, dude, these are people who all got accepted into the prestigious NBC program. And they're very funny. And I just said, hey, guys, I want to make some shows. Yeah. And I decided rather than just cry and be like, I can't train, I'm going to go back to what I love. And we've done 10 episodes. So it's kind of like 3 times a week we do shows and fun. And I tell them, I make it a big point of, give me your best silly characters. Give me your best out of the realm of like coronavirus characters. For 40 minutes, I want people when they watch our show to feel like, even if we're talking about current events, that they can relax and that we're not doing something like, and the funnier and sillier that they can make it, the better. And I got to tell you, one of the guys, like I felt like we hit jackpot with a couple of these skits, but like one of the guys just came in. Kevin came in as a guy from the NRA who went on a conspiracy theory rant that I think would have made Eddie Bravo sweat. And
that's saying something. That's
yeah,
rough.
and you know, I mean, like for me, I'm just like, we had a couple sketches where I just said, and I told my writers, I was like, I think you guys are succeeding. You're making characters. We had, oh, this is the one. So I pitched a guy. I was like, dude, there's huge DJ battles that are going on Instagram where they're getting all these producers like,
Oh yeah.
versus Swiss Beats. And I go, so people are going to those. Those things get almost 2 million impressions and views.
Mm.
And he goes, yeah. And I go, yeah. So I want you to be a character like that, a DJ. But I also want you to be a little bit of John Krasinski that gives us good news. And I gave him a nugget. And this dude came back and he just goes, hey, Ref, I made him Australian and British. Is that cool for your show? And I was like, that's so stupid. That's beautiful.
Perfect.
And he gave me this knockout segment that I said, oh, that was my idea, but it's his now. Like, he made it his own.
Yeah.
It was funny. It was silly. And that's when I felt like we're doing it. We're doing the job that we're supposed to do that makes everybody there. So, that's it, dude. So, working out has just been like, let's lift this 3 times.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Hey, you might know this. Why the fuck are kettlebells so fucking expensive, dude? Because I looked that shit up and I was like, you know what? I think maybe I'll find a kettlebell for myself. And then
it's
I looked
funny.
it up.
I did the exact same thing. I looked him up and I even went on like Craigslist.
But the best thing that I can do is hit up my brand of writers for early late night. And I'm talking, dude, these are people who all got accepted into the prestigious NBC program. And they're very funny. And I just said, hey, guys, I want to make some shows.
Yeah.
And I decided rather than just cry and be like, I can't train, I'm going to go back to what I love. And we've done 10 episodes. So it's kind of like 3 times a week we do shows and fun. And I tell them, I make it a big point of, give me your best silly characters. Mm-hmm. Give me your best out of the realm of like coronavirus characters. For 40 minutes, I want people when they watch our show to feel like, even if we're talking about current events, that they can relax and that we're not doing something like, and the funnier and sillier that they can make it, the better. And I got to tell you, one of the guys, like I felt like we hit jackpot with a couple of these skits, but like one of the guys just came in. Kevin came in as a guy from the NRA who went on a conspiracy theory rant that I think would have made Eddie Bravo sweat.
That's saying something. That's rough.
And you know, I mean, like for me, I'm just like, we had a couple sketches where I just said, and I told my writers, I was like, I think you guys are succeeding. You're making characters. We had, oh, this is the one. So I pitched a guy. I was like, dude, there's huge DJ battles that are going on Instagram where they're getting all these producers like,
oh yeah,
versus Swiss Beats. And I go, so people are going to those. Those things get almost 2 million impressions and views.
Mm.
And he goes, yeah. And I go, yeah. So I want you to be a character like that, a DJ. But I also want you to be a little bit of John Krasinski that gives us good news. And I gave him a nugget. And this dude came back and he just goes, hey, Ref, I made him Australian and British. Is that cool for your show? And I was like, that's so stupid. That's beautiful.
Perfect.
And he gave me this knockout segment that I said, oh, that was my idea, but it's his now. Like, he made it his own.
Yeah.
It was funny. It was silly. And that's when I felt like we're doing it. We're doing the job that we're supposed to do. That makes everybody there. So, that's it, dude. So working out has just been like, let's lift this 3 times.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Hey, you might know this. Why the fuck are kettlebells so fucking expensive, dude? Because I looked that shit up and I was like, you know what? I think maybe I'll find a kettlebell for myself. And then
it's funny. I did the exact same thing. I looked them up and I even went on like Craigslist. I'm looking on I'm gonna buy it used if I can.
Right.
And all I know is for the most part, they just go by weight. So it's like $1 to $2 per pound of it. So like, I don't know why that is, but even if you get like really, really cheap ones, I mean, you can still find them from, I mean, not that it's open, but you can find like used ones that people have gotten from like Ross or Marshalls or something that are good. I mean, they're still something, but dude, I have no idea why. And I actually had like 4 kettlebells from like way back that I ended up selling to our buddy Albert, Jiu-Jitsu. So he still has all those. So I'm sure he's enjoying them.
He doesn't need that shit.
No, he doesn't.
He's already in shape. Fuck him.
Yeah. So if he wants to send them back, I mean, I'll take them. But that shipping cost is going to be insane. But I'm enjoying how creative people are getting. I don't know if you've kept up with 10 Planet Pasadena. I see them going. I think they're doing it for their students, like their specific group. But they're doing a lot of live like trainings and questions. But dude, Eric Ramey is a monster. This dude's doing it in his house, like on hardwood floor, like with his fiance. I'm like, first of all, she's a gangster, he's a gangster, and they're going through like all these different leg lock transitions, rolling on hardwood. I'm just like, dude, that's commitment, and that's what I like to see. That's dope.
Now, first, bless your soul, because you didn't mention what he was a white belt at that he's been doing for her. Because I got to tell you, when I saw them doing that, I was really stoked. And I said, dude, I'm happy for them. I want to see them produce content. I love it. And then all of a sudden, I saw her doing like a waltz or a dance that he had to be the uke for her. And I was like, oh, this is where the world is equal again, Eric Ramey.
I love it.
You may leg lock me more than I care to admit. But guess what, Eric Ramey? I can hold my posture a little bit better, my friend. I'm just saying. Maybe
this was a dance battle. This was a dance battle. Game over, son. Break out the cardboard. We can roll. We can dance. Either one. We're set.
Like, it was so funny to see him because I thought, like, well, kudos to them because they also took the lead at the very beginning of being like, listen, we don't want to do this, but here's what we're doing. And I think the thing that I've impressed upon is, like, I'm happy to support my gym for as long as I can, and I think I should be okay in supporting them, but I feel like I've also posted a lot of, okay, gyms, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I saw, like, I think Fullerton was one of those first gyms that was putting out they're like, here's what we're going to do. And I said, fuck, that's good. Like,
can we talk about Boogie real quick? Because that's a fucked up situation. That's, like, for as much as everybody else is doing the exact same thing, however that was set up, I honestly didn't read the full article. I read, like, a little bit of it. I'd heard about it beforehand, and then I read, like, the first, paragraph or something of it. But that is some shady shit. That's crazy to me.
Yeah,
I don't get that.
So maybe you can fill me on some of the details, because on that one in particular, that's one that I said I got to talk to Boogie myself on.
Yeah.
Because I have a very big propensity of not reading the clickbait article. Like, I would rather interview the person than be like, fuck, man, the government, fuck, and fuck, man, because I would rather be like, it's not going to change shit. It's not going to do anything. And obviously, I think you should be able to do something. Although, can I tell you one thing before you tell me your thing?
Yeah. So
this little jerk over here, Kevin, was saying our Boogie interview. No, this is Kevin. Yeah, K-Breads, yes. Him. He had me on his podcast, which is the Jiu-Jitsu Times podcast, which, by the way, thank you for bringing me on. I was a delight. But these motherfuckers literally pulled me on their show on Monday. They said, Raph, are you free at this time on Monday? I said, yes, I'll make myself available, no problem. Then all of a sudden, 5 minutes before we're about to go, they go, hey, Raph, heads up. we landed Boogie, so we're going to bump you. And I was like, oh, is that how it is? Okay,
Matt
cool.
check, homie. Matt check.
Well, let me tell you something real quick. You tell Boogie that if he bumps me one more time, I'm going to snitch on him again. So I have no issues with that right now. Anyway, please tell me what information I don't know.
You may already know. Like I said, I don't fully know the details. This is from what I read and what he posted, but I guess he was filming at his school. I don't think it said, or even he said, who was with him, if there was like a substantial amount of number, which I wouldn't assume, of people with him. He was filming at his school. I'm assuming, and I think what had happened is somebody may have called and mentioned that, and I guess either portrayed it as the gym being open, or just wanted to say that they were open just to kind of, cause a rift. And he said when he came out that there was a van or a car, but it was not a cop car. It was like a civilian type car or van that was there. And then dudes got out and then came over and started questioning him and then gave him a ticket and a citation on it. So that's as much as I know about it. But he was just there filming, just trying to keep content. And the thing that bugs me about it is, for as much as we have these rules and regulations in play, at the same time, a business has to do what it's got to do to stay open after this. They're not open now, but that for a jiu-jitsu academy, like that's our job is to, for students, especially if our students are still paying, which I know a lot are, even while they're closed, but they want to keep learning. So, other places can't do that, or maybe they go into like online stuff, but they can film at home or something. If it's like a coffee shop, I can film how to make some coffee at home, like in my kitchen. Can't quite do that at home. I mean, with Pasadena, that's the exception. They're pulling it off well, but if you have access to your gym and you can go, like why not just go? You're not opening your doors. You open it, you lock it. It's closed for business, but you're trying to get some content. You're trying to, help your students, and then just have something to build upon, so that once you open up again, cool, everyone's happy, the students are happy, you're happy, and then things just keep running as normal. So that was kind of messed up to me because I was looking to do that exact same thing at this point, which I think Washington is a bit more lenient at this point from what I'm hearing and experiencing. So,
well, your numbers in Washington have been better. I know initially they were a little bit more worrisome, but I think that, the hard part about this is people are trying to base how we go back to regular life on numbers without a way of really fighting it. So it's a very difficult situation, I think, for all parties involved. Mm. I can tell this, which is, you and I both know Boogie on a personal level, which is that guy has a great heart, period. So I don't really feel like he would be trying to do something malicious. I just don't know the situation of how did he get talked to? How did he talk back to them? Was there a miscommunication? And if it was there enough time for him to say, or them to understand, listen, dude, my gym isn't open. I'm trying to create content because my students are still paying. And more importantly, I don't even think if the people who did give him the citation knew this, but they've suspended pay for everybody who is at that gym. They've said, listen, we're not going to charge you guys. Mm-hmm. So to me, I think they're doing as much as they can to try and make the situation okay. Right. And while that may not matter to somebody in San Diego, I think it makes a significant PR problem for the people who are trying to give this guy a citation for just doing what he can to help. So I'm very conflicted on, without knowing anything, just like, man, how did that happen? And why did that happen? And it should be hey, listen, if you're using the gym to film those things, it's not spreading a contagious event. It's not it's not doing those things. It bugged me, but again, to the point where I said, I'm going to let these lesser podcasts, wink, Kevin, have their first crack at him. And then when I see him in person or I talk to him, rather than damnation or praise, really being like, all right, let's talk about it here, because he might tell me like, hey, this didn't get communicated, or I communicated it and they were still dicks. And I'd be like, all right, that situation to me, I would hope is one that we can make an example of and say, listen, as we get back to whatever is normal, let's keep that in consideration for these guys who are business owners. Because, fuck, dude, I mean, my biggest worry was I went back to my gig after you had your going away kind of thing, which, by the way, was on a Sunday. So that's how you know how much I enjoy you, is I actually had to get up that next day for filming at fucking 5 a.m. And here I am at like 11:30 looking at you and being like, I mean, I'm going to miss you, but like, I gotta get back to work. And as we're all seeing all these things get shut down, like, you're at the top of my list of people being like, fuck, all right, we happen to do a contact sport. How do you do a contact sport with
6 feet apart? Yeah.
This is going to be a very interesting case. So you were obviously of the top of the concerns, and then being like, all right, we're going to have to be creative in how we do this.
Mm-hmm. Well, the interesting part is, even when it gets back to, I don't want to say normal because it won't be normal, but when it gets back to, businesses opening again, for the most part, even gyms, just regular fitness gyms, like once those open, it's hard to instill that 6-foot rule when you have personal trainers. If you're just there by yourself and you're chilling, okay. But I don't even think the equipment is 6 feet apart. Like, all the treadmills are lined up right next to each other if you're at like a 24 or LA Fitness or something. So that's going to be hard in and of itself. So I don't see why that would go beyond that point to, oh, you guys do martial arts? Cool. No, you need to be away from each other. But we've, at least since I've been out here, we've gotten a lot of emails from the students and a lot of talks with the students that are with us now. And none of them are really affected by the stipulations other than that we have to. But everyone's super eager to get back to training. No one's like really nervous about contracting something or, getting sick at that point. They want to get back to training. They want to get back to learning. And I feel like even once we start bringing in new students in to like get a feel for the environment, I think they're still going to have the same effect. Like, they're still going to be excited about something new and not be totally taken over by what's happening right now. Because even in this interim, we had so the new setup is super sick. Just in the fact that we just have a giant garage door that opens. So once you open it, you can see the entire place. So if there's training happening, it catches your attention right away. So just during the build out while this, we've had a bunch of people walk in while we've had that garage open, asking to sign up on the spot. So it's already, even in the middle of it, there's people that want to sign up and train. So I don't think after the fact it's going to be too big of an issue. But it's just like you said, I feel bad for the students that are still paying. Like, I want to be able to do something for them. So if Boogie stopped charging them, that's insane because they have a ridiculous amount of students, and good to him. I mean, that's dope. I really respect that. That's huge.
I mean, I've walked this fine line of again, being like, hey guys, do what you can. Support your gyms. Hey, gym, support your kids. Mm-hmm. Yep. And then I saw what Boogie did for his gym, where they said that they were suspending payments. And I just thought, like, man, I know how many students they have. That means they're fortunate. Because we don't know how long this is going to go, that's a hard thing to enforce for a long period of time. So, hey, man, kudos to them. That's a tough gig, but all the more love to them for doing it. And, I got a lot of appreciation for that. But I will say, yesterday, oddly, we had a Zoom call because Jean-Jacques was checking in on all the affiliates. Mm. And it was nice because I was like, he doesn't have to do that,
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's not really something he has to do. I didn't expect him to do that. But he was saying, like, hey, we're going to be looking at different solutions. We're going to be looking at, all the things. Like, do we have to, is there a different thing for this? Do we have to do this and this? And just hearing that made it a different approach to going back than it is just being like, well, let's just return.
Yeah.
Because the hardest part for any gym, I feel, is let's just return is going to be a recipe for not just scrutiny, but uncertainty. And uncertainty is way, way more damaging than anything else because that's what instills fear. And so I feel like, all right, whatever it is that we got to do when we do come back, that's what we're going to do. And I know that for me personally, I'll probably go back because I was doing striking privates with a couple of the buddies. And I was like, fuck, dude, I need to do that. Like, that was going to be good for me. And then they're like, hey, this coronavirus hit. And I was like, fuck, I'm going to be fat for a while. Damn it. And I said, I have a buddy who owns a boxing gym. And he's going through it too. It's a small business. And I said, hey, man, here's the good news. I can conceivably see you come back before I see Jiu-Jitsu come back. And that's a weird sentiment, but it's true because you can control that maybe just a little bit more.
Right.
It doesn't mean you're not going to have risks, you're not going to have anything associated with it, but I really do feel that a lot of people, you know, however it is we come back, just as long as every gym is showing that they're trying to come up with ideas and solutions, I think that's going to go a long way. And I think that the research that shows that having a good cardiovascular system, it seems to go with good research that, okay, if we try to keep ourselves safe from it, I just know that the minute it would make somebody contagious, even if it was just as a carrier, asymptomatic, no one wants that. And so that's what we're all just trying to figure out.
And no one's going to be able to tell, too. That's the hard part, is like there's no surefire way to know for sure. So it's like, no matter what, you're at some sort of a risk at any point. It doesn't matter, you know, what the situation is. If you can't really fully identify it yet, it's going to be weird. But I'm more so just, I'm not concerned with once we're up and running again, like how that's going to take effect. It's just the dates. I know they've already been pushed back multiple times. I think we were actually set for the 4th. And I think just a few days ago, our governor pushed it to match California's for the 15th. So I'm hoping it stays there. You know, I was hoping for the 4th. I think before that it was the 26th or 7th or something. So that's my only concern, is just if it keeps getting pushed back, I'm like, okay, realistically, how long can, not just us, but how long can any school keep going with that? And then on the other side, the students themselves, you know, if they're, for the ones that are still paying, how long can they maintain that when they're not at their jobs either? So yeah, I think, you know, a lot of people are annoyed with it, but I think we're also just forgetting, like, dude, this is some serious shit. Like, this is bigger than I think most people are anticipating, or not anticipating, excuse me, than are thinking, regardless of its already worldwide effect. So
I will
say for the best.
One thing that I do find that has been a necessary good from all of this is, but I hate to tell people this, but I'm like, listen, the good news about this is it is pushing many gyms that would not be ready for a digital enhancement to their gym to be digitally prepared. And
very true.
I'm talking those gyms that literally, like, that safeguard. And I'm not saying that we should learn jiu-jitsu just through digital forms. Like, but there are clearly some gyms that aren't prepared for this. And that every day I see somebody out there trying to do a Zoom or trying to give you an instructional or filming something at a gym, I just say, like, hey, listen, I know this sucks. I'm glad you're doing it. This could have a good benefit for you in the future. By just investing this time now, it makes you more adept to carry on a digital presence as we go forward. So one of the things that I'm quite confident about you, and especially when I saw that video that you put up today, was I was like, hey man, this is good video one. Like, I know you've been filming stuff on the side. I've seen you have the camera for some things that are going to come down the pipeline, and I'm excited about that content that's going to come out. But like, you plus Orchard increases that reach outside of your gym, that then creates that X factor that says, hey, when I'm out in Seattle, I want to go to that gym.
And that's kind of why I'm not too concerned of like when things are good. It's just the duration. But dude, I already see the reach that he's had. I think I mentioned when I first came out here and had like a meeting with him, I was asking, you know, he had full class, he had a massive amount of students. And I was like, what are you doing currently? Just like I had an idea. I'm like, okay, well, what do I got to add, change, whatever? It's like, nothing. Just I'm fucking Nate Orchard. I'm like, that's also true. Like, yeah, you're right. That does a lot.
When you did sign up with Nate Orchard, just given that both you and I know and appreciate him, have you started preparing for when he comes at you with a sword, though? Because I do feel that's going to come down the pipeline at some point.
I feel like even when we roll, he's coming. I feel like I'd have a better chance with the sword than when we roll. So I like my chances of that distance, especially 6 feet apart, although he could reach. I could definitely dodge a sword better than any of his leg locks or any of his attacks. So take my chances. I'll take those odds.
It was just something that crossed my mind when I was like, God damn it. Like, when he's talked on our podcast about just being like, yo, bro, you got to be ready at all times. And I was like, that's nice, Nate. All right. end of podcast. See you later. I've never thought like, oh, I've never been in a prolonged space with him for more than an hour. That could be very detrimental.
Yeah, no, it's rough. The first couple times before I actually moved out here, I came up once on my own and trained with him. I came up a following time with my girlfriend Celine, and then I came up, and then I actually made the move. Every time I rolled with him, I have never been wrecked more than rolling with Nate. And it was just like, I literally, since we've had this lockdown, I've gone back to watch Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm like, okay, where's an opening? I'm like, what can I do? Is there anything that's like available? And like fucking studying it to be like, all right, he does that. Okay, he goes here. Because he'll catch me with the same shit all the time. And I know what it is. And it's so tight when he just initiates it. I'm like, I can't move anywhere. I'm like, all right, cool. So is there a counter? Is there something? And especially when I watch Yu-Gi-Oh!, I see him start to get in those same positions. And I realized the only way to like counter or escape is literally just Hulk out and just fucking explode out. Like that's what I'm noticing a lot of those dudes are doing. Like palming the forehead. They're like, get away, I'm out later. So yeah, I'm excited for when he does get back because I know he's itching a lot to get back to training and teaching. And I feel like we acknowledge him a lot for his competition and his skill set. But he is a phenomenal instructor. That dude is a really good instructor. And I don't think gets enough credit for that. Especially for me. I feel like I'm a really good instructor, and I always analyze people when I'm seeing their instruction. I look at things. I'm like, okay, how do you interact with your students? How do you explain things? I'm like, do I understand it? Does it make sense? Whatever. Like I take this whole line of process because I always take that upon myself too. And dude, he's on another level. He's a really good instructor. So I'm excited for, to roll with him and gain that skill, but also just to learn what he has to offer. He's got a lot of knowledge.
Yeah, I'm not happy about that for you.
Yeah,
that's like the one thing I wish I could take away from your experience. Like all the good stuff I wish you could keep, but all the parts where you like start like lapping me further is the part where I'm like, how do I stop that?
Well, it makes you feel better. I'm backtracking my physical with a lot of beers, a lot of food. So I'll still have to do a little bit of catching up, just back to normal human size, and then after that we can be off to the races with that a lot.
I'm still not confident about those choices and chances because as it is, you know how bad it is to bank off of things. Because again, I love people who are creative with these Zooms, but every time I see somebody be like, all right, we're going to do yoga on the floor. Let's go. And I'm like, I do Jiu-Jitsu because I don't do any of this shit. I don't want to do fucking warm-ups all day. Fuck off. And now
there was ever a time for 10th Planet to come out with like quarantine warm-ups, like now would be the time. I don't know why no one's jumped on that yet. I refuse to.
BJJ Fanatics quarantine warm-ups is the best idea.
Whoever is out there and decides to do it, you're welcome. And if we didn't have to be 6 feet apart, I would require that I film it, but I can't. So you guys can have that one for free.
For now, well, have you, I guess on a personal note, as we start to circle around, have you been driving around and looking at sushi joints near you out there?
Not specifically looking for it, but not the first night, excuse me. So for my birthday, which is a couple weeks back, Celine flew out for my birthday, and she was actually supposed to come out the day after. So my birthday was on a Tuesday. She was supposed to come out on Wednesday. So I was just going to, have that by myself and then go pick her up from the airport and do that. She ended up flying out a day before, not telling me, kept a very good secret, and just showed up at my apartment with my roommate and had sushi waiting for me. And I don't know where that place was at, but that was some good sushi. So I need to look up where that's at and go there. And there's still, all sushi spots are still doing takeout and all that. So definitely need to check out that spot. I haven't checked out anything new, but I will say back in LA, and I actually did post this today too, there's a sushi spot that I used to work at that used to be in, I think it's still in Venice, but it was on Abbot Kinney. And unfortunately, I think 2 years ago, back in December, it burned down because the place right next to it was doing construction, the electrical caused a big mess, whatever. So that is one of the best sushi restaurants. Okay, I lied. The best sushi restaurant I've ever been to. And that's what I mean about like just people getting creative with it. They lost their restaurant at that point took, from 2018 December till now to, figure out things and get it back together. And while the world and while all businesses are shut down, they reopened. And they are crushing it right now. Aside from the food being good and them doing like takeout and all that, the person that runs the bar side of it decided to create her own set of cocktails, and they bottle them up, sticker them up, and send them out with you. I'm like, dude, that is genius. I don't see any bars doing that actually, other than like breweries for beer. But I don't see bars like creating cocktails and sending them out and stuff. I'm like, dude, that's a great idea. I don't know why no one's doing that. So that's cool. I like that. I thought that was dope. But
because I gotta say, sushi. When I literally, so maybe I say a week into all of this and realizing this is kind of the new normal for a couple months, I look around and my first thought was, well, Frausto can't train. He can really get the gym ready, and that's about it. And then he's going to have to keep distancing. So in my head, I had this vision of you in your car just driving around the city looking for coffee and sushi shops and being like, okay, yeah, I'll see you later. Okay, I see you now. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah. No, I haven't been doing that. Been making a lot of coffee here at my place, but sushi I haven't scoped out too much. No, like I said, just been cooking a lot. Just trying to eat at home. Got a bunch of food. I'm like, might as well just go through it, So,
well, what's been the best thing you've cooked?
So I looked up. I think you probably already know this. I'm a big Gordon Ramsay fan. Just when it comes to cooking, YouTube, Gordon Ramsay. I don't even type anything else. That's all I need. Whatever comes up, I'm like, I believe you. I trust you. It's like if you go on YouTube and just type in Jean-Jacques Machado for Jiu-Jitsu, you're like, whatever you say, like, I believe it. Cool, I'm in.
Right.
So whatever he says for cooking, I'm like, I'm all in. So I found a recipe for beef short ribs, and the way he did it was he sauteed it and then in like a giant baking tray and seasoned it up and then filled it up with wine, red wine, and then some beef broth. Threw it in the oven for like 2-3 hours and just let it melt down. And so I did that. That was actually really good. I had to find a place where I could even buy that. I found a butcher shop around here, which is cool. So that was that was good. I enjoyed that one a lot. So I'll probably do that one again soon.
Good for you, man.
Outside of that, just small things. Making like sides of potato salad. Making there's a dish that Celine taught me called mekbuba, which is like a bunch of bell peppers just boiled down until it turns into like a jam almost.
Can you say the name of that one more time?
Mekbuba.
Gesundheit. Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, right. Just in case.
I don't know, dude.
It's not Corona. Promise. I'm not contagious.
Yeah, well, that's fine. I like the idea that as this has come up, we talk about being creative on all of our video shoots and whatnot. All I know is sometimes I look around before we go out to get food or we have it delivered to us, and I just kind of take stock of what's left in the house, and I go, oh God, it's like an Iron Chef episode. I've got a squid, 3 pieces of rice, and broccoli? Where the fuck did this come from?
You have 30 minutes. Let's go.
Let's do this.
Hit a timer.
I gotta tell you, Kelly's been like, so right after we're done here, I'm very lucky. She literally was making, I think, like one night she was wondering if we should go get like Chipotle or something. And she was like, I don't know if we should, blah, blah. And I said, well, we got ground turkey in there. Why don't we just make our version of taco bowl? And we'll just get like rice on the floor. We'll put some ground turkey and we'll dress it up with like, some of the stuff that we got around the house. And she's like, amen. Well, today, I think she decided to go one step further and actually add some bacon into like the actual cooking of it. And I was like, I don't even think of bacon. And then she like gave me 1 scoop and she goes, what do you think of this? And I was like, oh,
that's okay.
We should put this in every meal. So like, so I actually think instead of that, we have like a kind of like an Italian dish with some bacon, almost like a fettuccine or something, where it's going to be.
Yeah.
She's been so creative and helpful on that front. And like I said, it's been interesting because on my side, I'm just sitting here being like, all right, babe, feed me all the things you're going to feed me now. Because I've given into this idea of it's going to, like, I've already prepared. You know when you do reps in cardio and they're saying, like, let's do 40 sit-ups. And you're like, I've just already fast-forwarded to that day when I'm going back. and I'm back in the gym, and I'm doing that 35th sit-up and being like, I shouldn't have eaten that. That was a bad choice, Raph.
Yeah, but I'll deal with it then.
Well, that's clearly what I'm taking on here.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, that's kind of what the whole point of that video that I was putting out, aside from the contest and all that, was I see a lot of people saying they're bored. I'm like, dude, there's so much that you can do, or so much that you can at least attempt to learn. What is it? I think, I want to say it's Harvard or MIT for right now, I think, is putting on free online courses. Go learn something. Like, dude, come on. There's so much to do. So, yeah, I'm tired of seeing people say they're bored or can't wait for this to be over. I want to go outside. I get it. We all do. But for the time being, you can still utilize it outside of that. You know what I mean? So,
well, I laughed pretty hard because, again, once I knew that this was a real thing that we got to deal with, and I was home, and, my job requires me to be there, so I couldn't be at that job. And I said, okay, well, then what can I do? I guess all the other shit I'm complaining I don't have time for. Okay.
Yep.
All right, let me get to work on that. And I immediately started creating content because that's what I know what to do.
Yep.
And then, before you knew it, I'd be doing interviews, monologues, joke writing, producing, editing, literally all the way through that. By the time I was finished with just getting something to render, I'd look at my watch and I go, it's 8 p.m.? I better not see somebody complain that they've been bored today, because I've been working since 6 a.m. to do what I do. And I
should build a giant playground for Lucy.
Oh, well, that my dog is basically at this point looking at us being like, leave. For the love of God.
Before it was the opposite. You're leaving me again? You guys are going to come back? Now it's like, dude, you sure you don't got nothing to do? You guys want to go somewhere?
She literally now is getting to that point where if Kelly and I are watching a movie together, she'll like look at the two of us, like exhale out of her nose, just kind of like snort, kind of like, and then just go to the bedroom and be like, fuck you guys. I'm done with you. And I go, oh, okay, well, I guess she needs her space. So I'm going to talk about
we'll be over here.
If you're going to go do that, then go do that, Luce. But, all right, dude, I'm starting near the end of this. So, well, you have a smaller glass than I did.
Yeah, that's true.
So, let's do a nice little recap. If people are going to go visit you, where is your gym? Tell us where they can find it, and tell us where they can find your content.
So, for right now, we haven't put the new address online. It's 5 minutes away from the old gym, so we'll update it soon, but we haven't put it up just because it's not open. But it's in Bellevue, Washington, which is on the other side of Seattle. So it's going to be there. Once everything's up and running, we're going to update the address and put everything on there. But for right now, on Instagram, you can follow 10 Planet Seattle. We haven't put too much content up right now, but we're filming it, we're editing it, we're going to stockpile it, have it ready to go. So even if once we open, when all this is going, we're still going to put out all those techniques and have things up and running. So you can follow that. If you want to follow me, I mean, my handle is right there on this video right there. So that'll do it.
What a good plug.
That's how I roll.
I feel like I should have taught you better on how to plug yourself. But
yeah, you probably should have, but, we got time. You can text me after this, and
I'm sure I will.
Back up some notes.
Here's what's good. I'm so glad, because I put this up. I just said, before we were doing this, I said, hey, listen, I'm on a call right now, but in about an hour, I'll kind of want to drink one of these and see who's out there. And I had literally no idea who was going to literally volunteer to do this. And you were the first person to volunteer, and I was like, oh, shit. And immediately after you, we had other people come in, but I was like, if there's anybody I want to talk to, not only is it my friend, but a friend who's opening a great business where I know when the reset button comes, you guys are already ready to hit the floor. But I thought, what a great opportunity to really sit and chat with somebody who we do greatly miss out here, but who we are incredibly excited to see what's going to happen when you are able to open.
No, I appreciate all the support. Dude, I've still gotten notes from everybody about everything, from Milton, from Gabe, from Lance, from everyone talking about it. So I'm excited, and dude, there's going to be a lot of things coming. Just from what we've talked about behind the scenes, I think you guys know of 10th Planet Seattle, but you haven't really heard 10th Planet Seattle yet, and you will. So I'm excited for that. That's going to be dope.
It's going to be so great, dude. And like I said, at some point, I don't know when, I am making a visit out there. I'm going to see what you guys have because I got to tell you, man, and especially, part of it's the way you shoot things. But the minute I saw just the simplicity of how you designed it and the beauty of how it looks, like, I just said, like, all right, my man's at home. He looks comfortable there. It's just, we got to be ready to go. And when you're ready to go, you're there. But it looks so great, man. And I couldn't be happier for you because it looks ecstatic. And I know the training that you're going to get from Nate Orchard. So I think you're going to be surrounded by a lot of great people.
No, I agree, man. I appreciate you. And I'm glad to finally talk to you. I haven't talked to you since I've been up here. So I'm glad you're doing well, too.
I'm fine. I just mostly wanted to leave you alone so you could fucking get to work. The hard part is I want to be like, don't talk to me. Build a bench.
Yeah. Well, now work's done. Now I'm just here like I'm Ricky Bobby.
Well, that's the best part of seeing you over there at the gym. Like, just, it's a true encapsulation of the whole thing's ready to go and you're done. Is when you're just sitting middle of the mats being like, okay, people.
Come in now.
Yeah, can you guys come in now? That would be dope if you could.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, dude, all of us out here, we're all rooting for you, man, and it's going to be a blast when you open up, and I cannot wait to get out there, dude.
Same, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm excited. So appreciate you, man. Always love your support.
Absolutely, dude. All right, guys, we're signing off now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Maybe we'll do one of these. Wait, hold on. It says we're all coming up, Lobes. Nobody asked.
Oh yeah.
You're not
Caravan. Actually fly. It's a 17-hour drive. You don't want to do that. That's rough.
Oof. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to spend that much time with these people.
Nah, not worth it. Tell Kelly hi.
I will. Send much love to everybody out that way, dude.
I will. Love you guys. Later.